Hi everybody, I'm Brian Whitmore, a Senior Fellow and Russia Program Director at the Center for European Policy Analysis in Washington, D.C. Greetings to the participants and organizers of the Young Leaders Security Forum in Lviv, and thank you to the Open Ukraine Foundation for the opportunity to speak to you today. I had hoped to be with you in Lviv today, but unfortunately other commitments kept me here in Washington, but I am with you in spirit. And since I'm addressing you in the context of the panel, Perspectives of European Solidarity with Ukraine, I wanted to make a few points about Ukraine and Europe. The first point we need to bear in mind when we talk about this topic is a very simple one. Ukraine is Europe. European history doesn't make much sense unless it includes Ukraine, and Ukrainian history doesn't make much sense unless it's viewed as part of European history. Ukraine is a European nation that's been artificially separated from its natural European home due to centuries of Russian aggression. So any discussion about European solidarity with Ukraine needs to proceed from this premise. European solidarity with Ukraine is European solidarity with an essential part of Europe. And therefore, European solidarity with Ukraine should be axiomatic. The second point I want to make is that Ukraine should not be viewed as a security problem for Europe and the West. It should be viewed as a security asset. Ukraine is the West's eastern front, and a strong, stable, and prosperous Ukraine means a safe and secure West. And to make this point, I would encourage everybody to take a close look at a map of the Black Sea, which is one of the key front lines in the conflict between Russia and the West. If you're a Western military strategist, at first glance the map looks pretty good. You have NATO member Turkey to the south, NATO members Romania and Bulgaria to the west, and you have NATO partners, Ukraine to the north and Georgia to the east. But if you take a little bit closer look at the map, the picture becomes a lot more troublesome. Because you wonder, how reliable an ally is Turkey, given that they're buying Russian air defense systems? How reliable an ally is Bulgaria? The West needs reliable security anchors in the Black Sea, and Ukraine and Georgia are those anchors. And the third point I want to make is that Ukraine is on the front lines of two wars between Russia and the West. One of those wars is the obvious one, the kinetic shooting war in the Donbass, which is part of Moscow's campaign to restore the Soviet Empire. And all you need to do is study a little bit of history to understand why this front is important for Europe's security. Because history shows us that while every Russian imperial project begins with Ukraine, no Russian imperial project has ever ended with Ukraine. And in this sense, Ukraine's security is Europe's security. But there's another, quieter war going on, where Ukraine is also on the front lines. A war of governance between two competing normative systems. A Western system based on institutions, the rule of law, transparency, accountability, and individual rights, and a Russian one based on oligarchy, institutionalized kleptocracy, patronage, and arbitrary rule. Ukraine's civil society, which has historically been well ahead of its political class, has chosen which side it's on in that struggle. It's chosen Ukraine's natural place in Europe. And it's time now for the political class to catch up. Ukraine's future, the future of Europe, and the future of the West depends on it. Thank you for your attention and enjoy the conference.